So this is why I said that I would not want Mainoo or Santos to play as our DM, as our 6. Now, this is the pitch, and we are set up against an opponent. Their defensive shape is the 4-4-2 defensive shape, because either when you play the 4-2-3-1, this is the likely defensive shape that you're going to be set up in. Now, they have set up in the 4-4-2, waiting for our build up from the back. Then, as usual, teams build up with 3 center backs. So, as the ball moves from the goalkeeper to one of the center back, either Dalot, Lukshaw, or Dalot will have to make a move towards the top of the pitch. Move towards, so that you can pin either of these wingers, so that you don't cause overload in your defensive half. Because if you remain, these people are going to come back here and come and meet you. So they are going to definitely want to move forward, so that you can pin one of the wingers backward. So if, let's say, we take, for example, Lukshaw moves forward, let's say towards this direction, then the winger definitely moves back a bit. Then you have Lisandro Martinez coming wide, Harry Maguire becoming a little bit central, then Dalot tucks in. So you have a back 3. Then the next thing is the goalkeeper gives the ball to Lisandro Martinez. This striker is definitely going to want to come and block this passing lane, so that he doesn't give the ball to the midfielder. Then the number 10 goes tight on our central midfielder. That's possibly going to be Tielemans. So let's say this number 6 is Mainoo. Then what's his name now? Lukshaw is still here, being covered by this guy. So if Lisandro Martinez decides to give the ball to Lukshaw, you discover that Lukshaw doesn't have too much of options than to go to number 10, who is being covered with 2 players, because definitely this number 8 will be very, very close to Fernandez at this point. Then you have Sesko here that will still be battling with these 2 defenders. So it's looking like man for man, everybody is covered. So what is supposed to happen is Mainoo will now drop backward a bit to form like a back 4. Then when he drops backward, Tielemans will now start trying to move forward to draw this number 10 backwards with him. Because if the number 10 stays here in no man's land, Tielemans becomes very, very free in this middle of the park, and a pass can come and he can continue the attack. So if Tielemans is free, a pass can come, he continues the attack towards any of the directions. So this number 10 will definitely want to be around Tielemans. So he will still be drawn backwards with Tielemans to just be like a defensive cover. Then if Mainoo receives the ball here, this number 9 definitely will want to come and press Mainoo. But since Mainoo is good with the ball, even under pressure, he can maneuver and wiggle with the ball. He can easily beat this guy, this striker. Then he's now free. But because he's not good in ball carrying, so what he's supposed to do is to move the ball forward towards the middle of the park. So as he's moving the ball forward, Tielemans is moving too. Fernandez is moving. The striker is moving. So you are already creating an overload in the offensive half. So then you see that Cunha will be shifting more towards the inside. And as he's shifting inside, he's dragging the center back with him, the right back with him. The center back are trying to form a close space here, so that they don't get caught out. This Mbeumo too is choking from the side. Then Lukshaw is already trying to form like an overlapping run. You're dragging this 3 with him. So you already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have a 3-1-6 formation already in the offensive half, just because your DM can progress the ball with his foot. You discover. So if Mainoo can easily move through this distance like this, like it is effortless for him, he has this burst of pace and he can go through this distance without this guy catching him. If this guy doesn't catch him and he can move, then you will now say that Mainoo is good in progressive carries. This is where them Baleba excel, Elliot Anderson. This is where they excel. They can easily move the ball to the opposition half without losing it. So Mainoo can only beat this man, then look for somebody to pass. And if the number 8, Tielemans, is this high, Mainoo cannot go long. Because, for example, now, if Mainoo wanted to go long, Tielemans can just easily come sideways this way, or he comes here, or even stays here and occupies these 3 guys, because this number 8 now will definitely be around here trying to still chase Fernandez. Then the number 6, or rather the number 6 is here, the number 8 is now possibly with Tielemans. Then the number 10 will be like in a free zone. Number 7 too is here, kind of like choke back, because all they are trying to do is trying to box the player so that nobody is free to receive a pass. So if he was good, Tielemans might have roamed to one side or this side, depending on where the 10 is, and he can just give a long ball to Tielemans where it's free. Then he can now roam to another space too. You get it? But now, since he's not good in that progressive pass, that's the long pass, he cannot do it. Tielemans needs to stay somewhere close that he can easily pass the ball to. So he will now give Tielemans the ball. Now Tielemans now tries to look for. So instead of it to have a 3-1-6 situation that you had before, possibly Tielemans is around here, and you have a 3-1-6 situation, Fernandez joining the attack to cause an offensive overload and get a goal scoring opportunity. Tielemans is now dragged back. And as Tielemans is dragged back to receive a pass from Mainoo, Fernandez too will definitely come back because you have to close the gap, you have to close the passing lane. So as Fernandez is coming back, Sesko too is coming back. So you still have that the defenders are free. The DM for the opposition team is not the one with Sesko. So and what's his name now? Luke Shaw will not be this high because of possible defensive transition and turnover. So in case they win the ball from any of these plays, if Luke Shaw is high, this attacker has more speed. He has a lot of space to run into because this defender will not come and stand here except that with the ball is already here. Because now we are still in the build-up phase. You are not in their offensive phase. So this is still the build-up. So this defender will not come and stay here yet. He will be around this place, close zone. In case they lose the ball, we can still keep our defensive shape until the left back comes back to complete the defense. Then if we lose the ball, Koimeno will be somewhere around here to create a cover or to make it a back four until our players drop back to come and defend. So that is the problem with having Kobe Mainoo or Santos as our DM. If you talk about the defensive cover, Santos will do that job to help cover until the players come back. But in terms of build-up, you are not going to need Tielemans to be doing a lot of heavy lifting in the midfield. A lot. Because he's the only one that can. So Tielemans will now be going everywhere. He will receive the ball here. He will receive the ball here. Now be hoping that Fernandez is possibly towards this direction. Maybe Luke Shaw is still here. Cunha is back a little bit further. So he will now be expecting either Fernandez to be here or to be here to collect the pass. Then Mbeumo is here. So a lot of movement, a lot of thinking will be on what's his name, Tielemans. Instead of him to be a little bit free, push Fernandez upward, give a lot of attacking options upward, with the number 6 being the one to move this ball like this. You see it? So then Rodri now, since they know that they don't have that legs to be running like this, Rodri can just be here. And from here, he's distributing pass. He's distributing pass. See? So when you are good in the long balls, you can just be here and be distributing the pass. That's what the Cruz used to do. So he might not even, he will just be here, somewhere like here, and just be throwing. Once he collects the ball, beats this first press, and gets into space, he knows that the number 8 will not even stress himself. Just go wide around the middle of the pitch. Go wide to one side. Then either the winger draws back, if it's an inverted winger, draws back a little into the midfield, or the number 10 is backward in the midfield. You see it? Then he collects the long pass. He doesn't need to stress himself in terms of running because he knows that he doesn't have the speed to go up and down the midfield. But if he had that speed, he will do it. He will push the ball. Then this one will still move. So if your number 8 is here as high as this, you already have an advantage in the offensive half. You see it, you already have an advantage in the offensive half because you always be having offensive overload. You get it? Then at least you know that if when it now becomes a defensive transition, your DM is not high because imagine he's here and he doesn't have the speed to run backwards. So he doesn't have the speed to run backwards. The number 10 runs, this one runs. Wingers, they have pace. So these wingers now they are at this place. So you're already having a 4v3 situation at the back before your players come back. This is what you have. This is what you call defensive transition. That means you are building an attack and you lose the ball somewhere high, and the defending team switches the ball early on time. So that's a defensive transition for you. If you don't have players that can easily come back to cover, you are going to have problems, and you're going to have situations like this 4 against 3 because your DM is high and he doesn't have the recovery pace to come back. You see the problem. So this is where Kante excelled. Kante could easily go forward, come backward, because he had that strength and he had that speed. But players like them, Rodri, they don't have it. So they need to use their sense. Switch passes. They maintain their position. They maintain their safe position because a DM, this is their safe position for the defensive midfielder. They don't go around. If you know that you don't have pace, don't go around this place. Just stay here. Then when your team is high, your defenders are like this. When your defenders are in this position, then you move to the circle. Now, if you remember, that was what they used to talk about Mikel. That Mikel doesn't pass this circle box because that is his safe space. When your team is high, this is your safe space. When your team is low, this is your safe space. So you just maintain that place so that you have close proximity with your defenders. That's why it's a defensive structure. So you have close proximity with your defender as a defensive structure. You keep your back 3, depending on when your left back or your right back, depending on the one that goes high, can come back. So that is the problem that we're going to be having with Kobe Mainoo. He's not good in terms of moving the ball. It's not good in terms of moving the ball forward. It's not good in terms of passing the ball via long pass. So this is my problem with Kobe Mainoo, and this is why I said that we need to get a defensive midfielder who is more of a modern a modern footballer. And what they do is that they are both good in terms of passing the ball. That's legs. But let's not say that you are a naturally slow player, which I can understand. We've had slow players DMs. So let's say you are a slow player, you cannot actually move or do that box to box job. Then you can just learn how to switch the ball, long passes. So if Kobe Mainoo wants to get better in as a DM, this is what he needs to learn: long passes and how to be defensively conscious. defensively consciousness. That's what he needs to learn. How to know how to build. He's already very, very good in terms of positions in how to intercept and do ball recoveries. He's good in that. What he just needs to learn more is now the defensive job properly. Because the job of a defender, you are like almost the last line of the defense. Once you are compromised in midfield, your defenders are open. And once the attackers are very, very smart and they can take out one defender, then they've created a lot of space to score goals. So that is why I said I would not want Kobe Mainoo to play as our DM. That's my problem about Kobe Mainoo in that DM position. Long passing is poor. Defensive awareness is kind of low. And he doesn't have the pace, he doesn't have the acceleration to be a ball progressor. So he really cannot dictate things. So if he wants to do this, that means we have to rely too much on Tielemans to do the job. And if Tielemans is the one doing the job here, that means Tielemans will not have that ability to go forward. And if Tielemans now drifts forward and loses his positional awareness and drifts forward and creates a space too much here, it can be exploited. Because the striker will just, let's say Tielemans drifts forward in the course of wanting to do an attack and Kobe Mainoo still somewhere around here. Because you know Maguire doesn't have pace. Maguire doesn't go far from the defense box. He doesn't do that. So we are playing with Maguire, we are playing with Kobe Mainoo. Two slow players in our defensive structure is going to be problematic for us. So I believe you understand why I said that I don't want. So in terms of the defensive awareness and defensive contributions, Santos is going to be far better than Kobe Mainoo in doing that. Though the gap is not much, but I think he can do that better than Kobe Mainoo. But in terms of ball progressing, offensive control, that's where our problem now comes. How do we build from the back without dragging the central midfielder backwards, dragging the number 10 backwards, dragging the number 9 backwards? Because if the number 6 is always going to be around the safe zone, even during ball progression, then we are going to have a problem in terms of how quick we progress the ball and how quick we have an offensive overload in the offensive half. So I think Carrick would have possibly seen this and he will be telling the board, you need to get me players, especially a modern DM. And that is where Mainoo Kone, that was what we saw with Mainoo Kone in the World Cup for France. That is his specialty. He can progress the ball. He can carry the ball with the leg and move. And I think he also has some good long diagonal passes. And if you watch Elliot Anderson in the World Cup, you discover that he's excellent in the two of them. Progressive with carry and progressive with long passes. He's good. That is his job. He was switching passes anyhow to Spence and Rhys James and what have you when they play. So let's see. I think, as I said, I'm going to be watching a lot of tactical things in the preseason games. I'm not just going to be watching because I want them to win. No. I'm going to be watching things that Carrick wants to do, his intentions of the game. That's what I'm going to be seeing this preseason. And hopefully we can get a DM to solve this problem. But if a DM doesn't come, if we don't get another player in this transfer window, then I think I will prefer Santos to be here. And let's hope that Tielemans can be fitter through the season to play as our box-to-box midfielder. And if he can do the progression job very well, then we can have good attacks and quality chances to score goals next season.